You're listening to the Premier Podcast Network. Welcome to the pinnacle of wrestling entertainment, Premier Streaming Network. Join us at watchonpremier.com to unlock the ultimate wrestling experience. Curated to perfection. Immerse yourself in the spectacular world of wrestling history, where classic battles and unforgettable moments are at your fingertips. Join us today and experience the epitome of curated wrestling content. Because when it comes to wrestling entertainment, Premier sets the standard. Be Premier.
Hey, everybody, it is One of a Kind here with RBD, and I am Dominic DeAngelo on the Premier Streaming Network. Maybe you're listening to us on a podcast. If not, if so, hello. But yes, it is episode, I want to say 12, episode 12 here, and we got a good one. Rob, how you doing, man? Not a lot happening lately, huh?
Double D, not much to talk about, dude.
I know. I hope we find something. But I guess I will address the elephant in the room and ask, did you see Barbie for a second time?
Not yet. It's going to be in September because we have Katie's got a match in Los Angeles, and we have this whole thing planned around it.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I'll watch it again, though. She was telling a friend about it last night. Actually, yeah. She was telling Diamante and Kiera
Hogan, yeah.
We were talking about that, and she told them that I liked the movie better than she did.
Really? So really? You do like it better than Katie?
Apparently, and I don't know. I just appreciated because I knew what they did with the writing of it. Like, I understood how they were making the story of this toy into a screenplay, and actually really I thought they did a great job of capitalizing and just really elaborating on everything they could to make an actual movie story kind of match the whole history of Barbie's story. And not that I'm an expert on it, but I did see a documentary on it, and I understand some of the pressures the Barbie makers had because of the image that moms would be concerned about their daughters living up to this image set by Barbie. I just thought, like, I understood what they were doing behind the dialogue, and I really liked it for that. Plus, as I said, I like Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie, yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing too, is like people are going with the impression of like, oh, it's like we talked about last week, but like, oh, machismo or demeaning to men or whatever and all that stuff. But it's like, the history of the Barbie stuff. If you know that, that's another layer to it. Plus, on top of that, it's a subtle remark on stuff that kind of makes it interesting. And it's Barbie. It's not like it's not like the fucking G.I. Joe sequel here. It's like, they're appealing to women. So it's just like, but it's engaging. It's a tongue-in-cheek sense of humor kind of thing.
Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Okay, but you're just getting that from hearsay?
Just hearsay. Well, just the kind of expectations of what I've had about it. Well, yeah, what you've told me, and then what I've heard from other people that went and saw the movie too. So.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's not too far off from my dream living in Barbie land, but. Yeah. I wouldn't invite any of my bros, though. That's where Ken fucked up.
Yeah. And hey, I washed my hands after we recorded last week. So.
I bet it goes through your mind now, doesn't it?
It does.
Take the dude's hand. And
even more so.
It's different. It's like we got this testosterone in our skin. And when your pores, wipe another man's pores, it's just like, next time I go by a sink, I'm going to wash that off. And,
you're right,
girls, like, they smell, your hand smells better afterwards.
Yeah, right.
You spray me with perfume or is it hand lotion or what did you do, dude? Like, You know, that's how I see him anyway. But
That's how it is.
I also was telling Kara and Diamante that, you know, I'm not one to want to invite all the bros over. And I was saying when Katie has her friends over and they're getting content in the swimming pool and stuff, man, I get so many comments from bros like, dude, you gotta invite me over, man. I gotta come by your house someday. And, man, one time we kicked the girl out. I don't know if I told you this.
No.
She was just like, oh, I feel sorry for Rob. He's the only guy here. Let me call my boyfriend over. I was like, dude, are you setting up a fucking blind bro date at my own
That's
house?
what I think it was, yeah.
I'm living here. Do not call your fucking boyfriend over to hang out with me. And she kept going back to it, like, oh, he's the only guy I feel sorry for. I'm fine. Like, this is perfect. Like, you know, she was, oh, we ended up saying, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Cause she was so persistent.
Wow.
It got ridiculous to
Yeah,
where
the agenda, huh?
weird.
Yeah.
Weird, but yeah.
Strange. People are strange.
So you know, Barbie Land was like, Margot was stereotypical Barbie. And then like they just wake up in the morning and they all go out to their balcony of their Barbie houses. And it's kind of like the Flintstone movie where it's, yeah. And, but they all say hi to each other, you know, and it's hi, Black Barbie, and hi, Librarian Barbie, or good morning, or whatever. I don't know. I'm fucking the lines up, but you get it though. They're all just happy and everything, and till Ken brings the bros in, dude.
Shoot it up.
Ugh. Now they're all farting all over the place and competing with each other, trying to outdo each other in bro contests. Ugh.
Ugh. Too much. Too much.
Not for me, man. I said I gotta save Barbie Land. No,
Right.
it was good though.
Yeah,
let me know when you see it.
I'll definitely keep you posted about it.
Can't believe that was the question you started out with. Did I see it again?
Everybody wanted to know about it, though. That's what everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll follow up with this. Wednesday was pretty busy, I guess, for you. You're known as Mr. Monday Night, Mr. Thursday Night, Mr. Pay-Per-View. Why not another weekday, huh? It happened on Dynamite this past week. How'd that all kind of feel starting off, Rob?
It was pretty good reaction from the crowd.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was concerned that this surprise would be blown because it usually is. And it didn't get too far out, you know. So even a lot of the boys were surprised. And they went through so much trouble to hide me that, like, even after we pulled into the garage, they put me in my ride, my truck, van, limo, whatever the fuck it was. But they put me in a wheelchair. It put a black curtain over top of me and like pushed me like all the way back to like this room. And then, you know, I just had my own room. So I was like, well, I'm not going to fuck it up and have to go through all that trouble. And so I just stayed in my room until after I made my appearance. But like, I was still seeing guys at the end of the night, Jeff Hardy and Matt and some of the guys I hadn't seen all day, Brian Cage, and they were still surprised. They're like, I thought I heard the crowd saying RVD or something. What? And so anyway, everyone kept the lid on it pretty good.
Yeah. And how did it feel going out to walk again with that hitting that?
That was awesome. Yeah. When I found out that he was going to have the rights to walk, it just like put me in a different vibe. You know what I mean? Just knowing the reaction that was going to get and how the fans would be emotionally connected to that. You know, let it play for a few seconds. I wish we would have had Fonzie's whistle to follow up. Right. You know, I used to send him through the curtain first, but back then I would wait forever. I'd still be taping my wrists up while my music's playing. And I'd be like doing some push-ups and push Fonzie out there now and go, hey.
Pace it out. Make him wait. So when did he kind of break it to you that you were getting walk? Was it when you arrived there, or was it like at a certain point in time? Was he like, "Hey, Rob, I got something for you"?
We didn't even talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tuesday, I think I sent a text because it would cross my mind. I was just picturing, and I was like, "Oh man!" And I sent the producer a text, and said, "Dude, if Tony could get the rights to walk, wow." And then he said, "Yeah, we tried, and we weren't able to." And I was like, whatever. And then it wasn't until a little while, hour or so, within the first hour, I guess, when I was at the building, then that just changed. I was like, "What? Wait, how is this updated?" Because I just yesterday, it's sweet, and I was like, "That's awesome." So yeah, I read some of the comments on social media for people saying, like brought tears to their eyes and stuff like that. So pretty cool.
Pretty damn cool. And it was neat too, because not only were you trending on Twitter, like Rob Van Dam was trending on Twitter, but Pantera was trending too because of it. It was pretty wild to see. It was just like, awesome. I mean, when I heard it too, I was like, I had to second guess my ears. I was like, are they playing Walking? Like, sure enough, man.
Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, I don't know what they would have played. If they just made something up or whatever, it would have kind of been weird. We would have just counted on the graphics to, get the reaction until they saw me. But
yeah, could they have done your TNA tune? Because since
they could have. I don't think it would get the same reaction.
Probably not. No. Walk hit the right spot for sure.
Yeah.
How was your interaction with Tony Khan and everything like that? And did you meet him before this? I know he was a big fan of you growing up and everything.
I had not met him. I'd only talked to him on the phone before. So last night I met him, and obviously he was cool, respectful, and he reminded me that he had told me this on the phone a long time ago, that he was, as a fan, he was at the stretcher match of RVD and Sabu in Philadelphia. He said he was there, and he said that he felt like that night, was like a big vehicle moment that catapulted me, and at the time, I mean, it was like my favorite match at the time. I loved it. I remember the match, really well, certain spots of it, but at that time, every match for me was the next one would be my favorite, the next one. And especially with Sabu, every time we'd wrestle, we'd try and outdo it. Same thing with anybody there, but he reminded me, he was there, and that was a real special night for him as a fan too. So pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty damn neat. And it's he had Sabu in there, at Double or Nothing and everything. So it's kind of cool to see all that connecting together. Plus, you and Jerry, did you get to interact pretty much good with Jerry too backstage and stuff? I know you see him somewhat often and once in a while, right? So
right, yeah, yeah. I feel like I just saw him a week ago somewhere, and somewhere before that too. So yeah, we've been running into him. Always good to see Jerry.
Yep. How about Taz? Did you get to connect with Taz?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
Taz is cool. Yep. I saw on the Tuesday night, because I came in Tuesday night, I saw Taz and Justin Roberts. I think that's it.
Yeah, because it was funny because I was looking on Instagram and he posted a video of you, like of his own perspective and stuff, and I was like, oh shit! I was like, I wish he didn't get a chance to razz him in the ring. I know that much because he wasn't in there.
Not yet.
Yes, still Wednesday. That's what I'm going to be looking forward, I think, to the most.
But do they do the announcing when the wrestlers are in the ring or prior to when they're
to the ring? I think to the ring.
In the ring, or they announce them to the ring?
I think when you're walking towards the ring, that's when you're going to be announced.
Right. So then that'll be hard to rib Justin like I normally do. But that's cool. Hey, you got to give some things up, you know.
Yeah, right.
Like give a little, get a little sometimes.
Times they are changing. Who else was I gonna ask about if you saw? Oh yeah. Well, you mentioned him, the Hardys. Saw Matt and Jeff, and it's kind of cool that we just talked about Jeff last week in a lot of detail and stuff. So, how was it connected back with those guys?
Yeah, you know, and I see Matt, and I think I probably said that when we talked about him. I see Matt at some of the cons and stuff. They were both at the con a few rows from me recently in Kentucky and Knoxville, but I never made it, you know, to see them. And so I hadn't seen Jeff in a long time, I guess. I can't remember when the last time I saw Jeff would have been, but man, he looks awesome. He's slimmed down. He's got some abs. Crazy, because you know, he's always been like way heavier than he looks. You know, me too. Like I've said that before too. Like my poundage on the scale is always heavier than I look, and other wrestlers talk about that too. When they go to pick me up, they're surprised because a lot of people in their minds want to make me out to be 210 or something. So, you know, when I was 240, and that's a big difference. And I always thought that about Jeff. Like whenever I picked him up wherever, I was like, Jesus, like I didn't expect him to be that heavy. But he looked fucking good.
He does, man. You look at some of the like guys like you, guys like him, Matt even, Jeff Jarrett is like it's very ageless, like in a lot of ways. Billy Gunn too. I know like a lot of those guys. It's pretty remarkable. Who else was it? There was one other person.
Christian. I saw Big Show. I saw Mark Henry. By the way, pretty sure Mark Henry, Big Show, and me, and Jericho, and I think Goldust. Well, I was gonna say we're all the same age. I think Goldust might be like 2 years older, but we're all like basically the same age. So
in the same ball. And you know what? Is it pretty wild to kind of think about that and be like, man, so it's like, yeah, you, Dustin, Jericho, and I'll even add Dreamer and Bully Ray into the mix. Like you guys are like kind of that final generation in a lot of ways. I mean, you could kind of factor the Hardys in too a little bit, but they're maybe a little bit younger, obviously. But is that kind of wild to kind of think about when you factor that in, or is it just like, hey, you know, people get older and that's how it goes, you know?
More the later. I mean, no wild thoughts there, you know.
Yeah. It's neat though, because like you look at somebody like Dustin and like he's doing some of his best work now than he was even back in the day. It's like some of the stuff he's able to pull off is pretty remarkable. So he's like kind of reinvented himself, but then like a lot of you guys are still able to do what you're doing, you know?
Dude, there's going to be a lot of doubters put to shame next week. Let me just put it that way. Some of the comments that I read, like, man, that one dude said he's too old and fragile from beating his body up. I personally, like, I don't identify with old, you know, from like because I don't feel old, but I understand that at 52, the younger people would look at that as old. I get that. So it's not, it is what it is. Like we're just, you know, like anything else. I'm not insulted, but I don't identify with it because I feel great, you know, and so anyway, knowing what I know, having the insight that I do, when they say something like that, I always just think, you know, they're relating it to their family and people that they know that are broken down at 35, and I get that too. But fragile, where did that come from? Like that was like that's like so alien. Like I get that's just weird to me. That somebody it's weirder than somebody thinking that my lungs are definitely damaged, and he's got better lungs than I do, for sure. That's weird, you know, to think like, oh, why would people like assume like what is that even based on? But I feel like the same way, but even weirder about fragile, because that's just like something that like I've never been identified with, you know. people that have, I guess, out of shape family members or influences in their life, then they I guess they're thinking, oh no, he's gonna break a hip. But to me, it's just like, because I'm still bumping and I'm still doing everything, and because I know how I feel, it's pretty funny to hear some of those comments.
Fragile.
But like I said, I'm sorry, Petrie. I just kicked my dog. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. But like I said, though, the naysayers next week, then afterwards, when everybody is saying like, holy shit, you know what? They'll have no accountability. They'll either jump on the bandwagon or else they'll just
they'll either jump on the bandwagon or not say anything. That's how it goes.
That's it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just be full of shit forever because no one will hold them to it.
Exactly. So yeah, did you ran into Jericho then too? You talked to him a little bit?
Yeah. Yep.
After
his match, he was all sweaty, and I had a shirt on. I hugged him, and then I went, "Oh, that's all right." Same thing with Jeff, but then I was like, "Oh, did I get paint on my shirt?"
Yeah, because that's another thing you got to factor in with Jeff.
What? I doubt. I'm sure I've seen him since this is way longer. This is 2016, the weekend that I met Katie in Dallas, Texas, WrestleCon. It was. I will always remember that as being like my rock bottom weekend of, really long depression that went down into, finally hit something and bounced back. But anyway, during part of that weekend, and I was intentionally drinking a lot, like in a destructive manner. It was crazy, but man, Karen Jarrett, I guess, asked if I could go do the JR interview question in front of the crowd thing because Kurt, for some reason, couldn't make it. And I was just like, sure, just stumbling around like whatever. And so I did and I just kept drinking on stage with JR. And anyway, the reason this comes to mind is I remember, like, I feel like this was obnoxious, but when I saw Jeff, I just remember going, Jeff, and I grabbed him and wham, like I headbutted him like so fucking stiff. Like I used to think that was funny, like when I was really young, but kind of embarrassing I did that because it was so hard. But then he just gave it like right back to me, wham. And then I grabbed Hurricane and did the same thing, wham. And then I don't even, I wandered off, and then had a crazy night. But when I looked in the mirror, I had Jeff's paint on my forehead all night.
All night long. Hey, Lily, what a memory.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Sorry, Jeff, dude. That was dickish. It was really stiff. But I knew he could take it, I guess, or I wouldn't have given it to him. But I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that now, though.
Right.
Not the peaceful warrior that I am now.
Exactly. Not how fragile you are, Rob.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to heal after something like that. When you
don't. Yes. As far as did you get to catch any like of the action in the ring, like that after you got out, or did something stand out to you? Anything? Or anybody?
I didn't see any. No. I was I stayed back in that room, and then after the match, I went back to the room, but then I did like a podcast. I can't remember what it was called, I tell you, but
is it the AEW one, the restricted one, or whatever?
No, it was really, really weird. A dude gave me he did the whole interview like in a character.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway, and then Katie had family, her sister and brother-in-law, which would be my sister-in-law and brother-in-law too. They were there because they live near Tampa. So then, we got them in the back and catering and everything. So I really didn't see any of the show.
Okay. How was the atmosphere like just backstage and the dynamic, what you got to experience with AEW and stuff? You hear good things about the locker room, and then like there's been reports about like, you wouldn't have gotten into all the drama if there was any of that. But how did it feel for you, dynamic
I guess. I mean, nothing bad. You know, I'm just trying to think of what I could say about it that would make it different. You know, it's not quite the big stressful production of WWE. It's definitely not like a little small little indie show either. You know, it's like somewhere in between, but closer to WWE. But like when I've done TV for international shows that a lot of my fans wouldn't know about, you know, like in the UK or in Australia or maybe even in Japan, you know, maybe I would compare it like that as far as just the free air, you know, people are walking around genuinely happy to be there. I don't really know how to describe it as being you know, I can't think of anything that was like outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that, I mean, if you're the aspect of it being different than WWE, because like you think people, I've never been backstage at WWE, but from what you hear, it's like, you know, different climate, people are kind of on their toes about stuff and things like that. But, you know, if you're backstage at other shows, it's got that atmosphere where it's like shit's getting done, people are working, but there's also like, hey, you know, it's not like crazy amount of pressure like that you're feeling or anything to that effect. So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool.
That's good. Somebody that we did see on Twitter that shared a picture was Sammy Guevara. You and Sammy.
Yes.
How have you met him before this, or was this your guys' first time meeting, kind of thing? And what do you think? How was your interaction with Sammy?
This was the first time I met him. This is something funny too that I saw on Twitter. Like someone go back and bring up
the tongue thing or whatever.
Yeah, I just said, why does everyone stick their tongue out? I don't know what it means. Something to that effect. Yeah. And then they go back and get it and they're like, oh, well, this is awkward. Like, ooh, you really got me, you know?
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Right.
So stupid. Same thing with the all petite wrestling, you know, they're like, yeah, from 2019, they bring it up, they're like, wow, well, this didn't age well. What do you say to that? Because in their minds, you know, they think like everybody should be like lined up, holding hands. Don't let RVD in here. He said all petite wrestling. Sammy was cool. I was actually walking or standing by him, and he just was just like, dude, hey, you know, he was just, welcome. Can I get a picture? You know, and he was just like that. He seemed very pleased to that I was there. A lot of guys did, you know what I mean? So that was cool. But Sammy will definitely stand out as being very cool for, you know, for that. He just, you know, he had his girl take the picture, and then a photographer took a picture of the three of us, and you know, he fanboyed.
Hey, you know, it's hard not to, I'm sure, if you're like a talent.
Hey, everybody grew up watching me. I say that every day. People tell me all the time, dude, I grew up watching you. I'm like, I know. Everybody did. Everybody did.
Yeah, no, and it's like, I'm sure he's
That's why I'm fragile. That's why I'm fragile.
Yeah, that's why I'm so fragile now. I have poor lungs. Yes, you got to cut a little bit of a promo too on Dynamite with Renee. I thought that was great too. It was just like kind of you were like, and you brought it up. It kind of serendipitous in a way, because last week we talked about the hardcore title and you defending winning the hardcore title. But I actually didn't know until afterwards, like when I did some research after the fact, like when I was doing some write-ups and stuff, that you retired the hardcore title. And so, and it was funny because you're like, I've retired some belts before, look it up. And then
that one, the European belt, I retired.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So there might be another one in WWE. I'm trying to think of what somebody told me that it was there a Universal belt or something? I can't remember. It was something a fan told me, so I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, that happened at least, you know, with the European Championship and the hardcore. Well, I guess that was the same Was that the same last match? I guess I don't even know. I know when I retired the hardcore belt, it was with Dreamer. I don't know if he was the European belt, but there was like I would win the belt and then merge them and then just retire one, and it was like that happened at least 2, maybe 3 times with my WWE run. Also another interesting fact is that I have gotten injured and lost championships fairly often too. You know, the ECW TV belt, I broke my ankle with it, right?
Right.
And when I hurt my knee and I had to get knee surgery, I feel like maybe me and Rey Mysterio had the tag team belts. Not 100% sure about that, but I know we were partners at that time when I blew my knee. I remember that specifically, but the only surgery I've ever had, but that was before I was fragile. But also, with the TNA, when I had the heavyweight championship, I used up all my dates, so they had me injured to forfeit the title and had a disc just like slice me open surgical style and leave me like a piece of meat.
Oh man,
to the dumpster. Yeah. And it might have happened more than that too. But anyway, obviously with the WWE championship, that was not an injury, but that was I don't know, shall we call it a disqualification?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, some of my losses have been controversial.
A no contest, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
No contest.
But so you were talking about the
the promo. Like, how did it kind of feel to kind of?
Oh, no, it was awesome because you got this much time, and you got any ideas? Yeah, boom, 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 love it. Yeah, it was easy. It was awesome seeing Renee. She looks great.
She's so good at it,
Yeah. I've always enjoyed working with her. You develop a little bit of relationship with everybody, like, your own unique relationships, and like the person that's interviews you a lot, you get to build your own relationship that lasts like forever, like over years and years and years. And it's just like, it's part of the chemistry, but it's like, I usually like to try to make people laugh or whatever, Actually, what it was yesterday when I went in there to do the promo, and the dude was talking to Renee before she interviewed me, and he was talking to her about my match with, or not my match, but about the run-in with Jungle Boy, and it was a pre-tape, and I just said, "Why are you telling her that? Like, why are you talking to her about my match?" And I said, "Oh, so that she understands like where I came from, I guess, or whatever." And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "All right, if you say so." And here they said something about, "I love having you back, Rob," or something like that, or nothing. I guess it was like a Sabu moment because it was just so weird. Like, why are you telling the girl that's going to interview me, about this thing that's going to happen? But
right. No, it was pretty cool to kind of see that, because I was watching it on my phone, and then I saw the clip on Twitter of the interview, and I was like, hell yeah. All right. Stakes are there, man. We got it going. Mm-hmm.
Boom. Went in, dropped it. Awesome. Went all the way back to my room. And then they came back and said there was like one thing about that they wanted to, I wasn't accepting a challenge. I thought I was, and I guess he didn't really throw a challenge out when he was talking schmack.
He was just dissing people.
I was like, no problem. Boom. Mm-hmm. Again, dropped it. Bam. It was cool. It was easy. And yeah, as far as that goes, I guess that is quite a bit different than one would experience in the big
extreme wrestling aspect of things.
Yeah, the trendsetters.
All that stuff.
So that was all very cool, and everybody that was in charge of whatever department, seemed like cool, and like they had good relations and connections with the talent, so they were able to produce it that way.
Yeah. No, it's. Were you familiar with a lot of the production people backstage? Because I know they have a lot of
Everybody, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, everybody was a familiar face, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. I didn't expect that.
I know it's kind of wild from what you hear. I hear names, familiar names, and like I think like Kevin Sullivan, not the Taskmaster, the other Kevin Sullivan was back there. I think he's back there. There's several names that it's just like, oh, okay, I know that one too. So
Yeah, and man, the camera dudes and audio guys and just everybody. It was, you know, over the last 20, 30 years, like I didn't even place some of them, you know, because in my mind, I'm not sure if I know. Do I know this guy from the TNA, like the first run, I think, or was that, you know? But so it doesn't even matter anymore. It's just like, dude, I know we worked together a lot, so maybe even in several places, I don't know. And then one face that didn't look familiar at all to me. I'm just like, hey man, good to meet you. And he's like, yeah, hey, Jeff Jones. He's got all this big gray, like Papa Smurf
yeah.
face now. I had no idea that was him. I was like, oh yeah, you are. You are. Jeff
How about
Jones.
that? How about that? Well, okay. So you were impressed with Jungle Boy's heel work initially. Now you've seen him face to face. What were your initial thoughts of Jungle Boy Jack Perry there in the ring?
Good timing. He's confident. We're gonna see how durable he is.
That's right. That's right. Is he fragile? That's going to be the question.
I hope not.
Right.
I doubt it. I doubt it. The match I have in mind, not that I have a whole match in mind, but what I have in mind is not for the fragile.
Not whatsoever, Rob. That's not your bucket. That's not your
my style.
That's not your bag there, man. Not your bag. All right. I'll ask this too. A lot of fans are curious about like, hey, would Rob be doing more with AEW coming up or anything like that? Do you have any thoughts on that in regards to what you may be doing or what your future might be with AEW? Or
yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Okay, yeah. See, and I think that's the thing too. I kind of don't. I mean, I get why fans ask that question because they want to see more of you, but it's also like, hey, let's leave the air of mystery up. Let's see what happens. You know, I like to not know everything sometimes. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
See what happens.
See what happens, guys. You know. All right. Well, so we don't have a wrestler spotlight this week. Chris did give me a whole list of names of ECW wrestlers, pretty thorough list. And we're maybe going to do a ranking system here, but I'm thinking more so it would be kind of cool to get just a little bit of stories of some of these guys that we haven't really talked about necessarily yet. So I picked 3 of the names from the ECW days that you've competed against or alongside with maybe. But 3 stories. We'll just have 3 stories. I'll give you one name, you share a story, and then we'll go for 2 more and see how that goes. So, all right. My first one I was going to start with somebody you've mentioned, before on here, but Mick Foley, Cactus Jack. Do you have any good stories to share about him, whether it was in the ECW days or crossing paths in WWE?
Man, the only thing that pops up in my mind, and I can't I can't come up with anything else. So I guess this is going to be my story.
Okay.
When Katie went with me to Hall of Fame, I don't know, a few years ago, whatever. The first time she was with me at Hall of Fame, when I got inducted, maybe that would have been, I don't know. But anyway, on the bus, Mick Foley was sitting by us, and he turned to her and he said, I don't even want to say your name. He said, "Hey, Evil X." He called, yeah. he thought that Katie was, yeah. She didn't really like that much, like, hey, it's the dark black hair, it's nighttime. He's sitting in front of us without even seeing, kind of like looking back, hey Rob, bitch. But yeah, that's my that's my funny Mick Foley story.
The Mick Foley story.
Yeah.
Well, when you're a hardcore legend, you gotta have, after time, it's hard to see in the dark.
But also, what I relate him to a lot of times, like when I think of Mick Foley, I think of that retired hardcore championship that we're talking about, and then yeah, he has it. They retired it to go to him. And you know what? I just realized, dude, I didn't even think about RVDology at all till this moment. That's why I just spaced there for a second. I was like, man, well, when I could maybe come up with it on the fly, but I don't even know what I would.
Well, if not, we could just. I have stuff I can talk about with the last week's too. So,
might have to skip that and see if the world falls apart this week.
Right. Let's see what it very well could. I think. You teach a lot of people, and you know what? It's like the RVDology videos. They do pretty damn good on YouTube. If you've noticed.
Cool. Yeah, man. That's awesome to know, because obviously it's a purpose-driven venture, and so hopefully that's the intent. Hopefully I am helping people with it. Today, I just flew into Vegas from Tampa.
Yep.
Yeah, and just landed 2 hours before we're filming this for people that are watching, and that's why I wasn't as prepared, and I forgot about the RVDology, and so anyway, and this one might be a little shorter because
you got
I got a lot of stuff to do, because tomorrow flying out to Tulsa Comic Con, and so back, very short trip home, and so the brain's a little all over the place with a little bit of jet lag too. So anyway, that's my defense. Just want to throw that out there. That's my insight that I'm sharing with everybody.
There we go. That's the RVDology. Is like just the busy schedule happening.
Let's proceed.
Right. Okay. Next one is one very close to Mick Foley. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I got his biography back there. Terry Funk. Do you have any good experiences or wild experiences with Terry?
I haven't really had any one-on-one time with him, or I don't. I think about the match that Sabu had with him, and I went out there with scissors and gloves and everything to cut Sabu loose with the barbed wire. That was a Terry Funk experience. Not real. I mean, it was more professional than personal, but obviously it was a cool moment for me to remember. And I think about, I was part of the Terry Funk retirement show that he did in Amarillo, the Beyond the Mat. Wasn't it Beyond the Mat? We decided.
Yeah, Beyond the Mat. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I was at that. I've always been closer with Dory. Like have just, Dory would book me for All Japan Pro Wrestling. At first, it was Lord Blears, and then afterwards, it was Dory that would book the Gaijins to go over, and I just got to know Dory a lot, and wasn't really around Terry a whole lot. I can't think of any funny stories. Although, have you ever seen Stranglemania?
No, I haven't.
I mean, I don't know if it would still hold up. I imagine it maybe it would, but man, I used to think that was the funniest shit ever. They had an FMW match, and it was Cactus Jack and Terry Funk, and a barbed wire exploding bullshit match. And Insane Clown Posse took that match, and they just created their own characters out of it, did their own commentary. And man, I used to cry laughing at it. I don't know if it would still be as funny, but it was they were just, every single time the commentator would go back to Terry Funk, he would get older, and he'd be like, drunk Terry Funk, 100 years old, looking good out there. And they'd say, Cactus Jack wraps barbed wire around his nuts every morning and pulls them just for conditioning. And I don't know, at the time, man, I used to think it was so funny. And there's a few other and besides the matches you see on there at the time anyway, were matches you wouldn't see somewhere else with all the, now I guess it's everywhere, like with death matches, because it was like mines exploding.
Right, yeah, the C4s or whatever. Yeah.
Sabu told me, and this wasn't on Stranglemania, but it was definitely the same promotion. Sabu told me one time they had a tub of water in the middle of the ring with piranha in it. Yeah, and they'd take their face and like,
oh my god. Well, yeah, no, I watched the one Terry Funk versus Onita, like the exploding barbed wire match from '94, and it was pretty cool what they did strictly with the barbed wire. Like they put fear about barbed wire into it. It was like, hey, I don't want to go into the barbed wire. And they made a huge aspect of that, where that was a big part of the storytelling of it all. Well, not like somebody, you'd wait for them to get thrown into it potentially, but it was more so like, oh my god, the anticipation of when it was going to happen or how it was going to happen. Pretty cool shit, So there's definitely ways to do it, but Terry was, I grew up later on. I grew more of a fan. So you got to know Dory through. Oh, it's Petrie.
No, this one's Barbie.
Barbie, all right, fitting. How about that? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It's so hard to leave her when I go on the road.
That's the worst aspect of traveling, I think.
I brought Katie. I had to leave the doggies.
Did you get somebody watch them and everything okay and everything?
Yeah. Yep.
That's a good way to do it. Man. Yeah. Oh. So, the third one, I wanted to kind of go a wild card on that one, would be not known too much for ECW, but he was part of it, was Eddie Guerrero. And I didn't even make the connection about the frog splash until just now too, but yeah. What's your relationship with Eddie? Any good stories in that regard, or anything that you can share there?
I mean, I can't think of a damn funny story or even really an interesting story. Like I always got along well with Eddie, and especially the more we worked with each other, and gained mutual respect. And he was intense, he was intense. But I can't even think of a story. I went to his funeral and it was, I never really felt like I would have been like one of his, like top 5 buddies, or like I knew him that well. It was just out of respect and stuff. Like sometimes you do that, and I knew that the family really respected me. Like RVD's good in any hood. I always get respect from families that are in the wrestling business. They always give me respect because they know I'm, old school and appreciate what I've done with the fundamentals. And so, the Samoans or the Guerreros, or whenever it comes to like a family of that, I always, the Hart Brothers. So, story with Eddie.
How'd you like working with him? Like when you did, like you said he was intense, and so like that
he was. He was intense, and but I mean, I loved the matches. You know what I mean? Like we were both athletic and competitive, and he took one of the best monkey flips out of anybody. That for some reason, some people can like really go far on them. Like for me, a lot of times, I feel like I'm consistently giving a push. I mean, obviously, if they're smaller or heavier or stiffer, those are all factors. But like, man, AJ Styles is one, and Eddie was one where I could I could monkey flip him and he would hit the turnbuckle on the other, corner diagonal, and that was just amazing. So I always liked to do that, and I loved how the fans were behind him and both of us when we wrestled. I got a good reaction. It's not always easy to have a babyface match, but like with me versus Eddie, even if either one of us was to be a heel, we would still be getting cheered in that match,
Right. Yeah. You guys had that cachet at that point too, where it was like, and the fans, like, they liked Eddie for the lying, the cheating, and the stealing, and they like you for your attitude and stuff like that. But it's there's still that respect of like, oh man, these guys are too cool to not like, kind of thing. So it's a good balance of things. Same with you and Jeff too. You and Jeff Hardy, like we talked about it too. It's like you guys had that great reaction stuff.
Yeah.
So cool, man. Well, we'll close it out with a little Ask RVD here. Let's see what we got. What I was going to ask here. Oh yeah, you kind of touched upon this a little bit. Somebody was like, they wanted to see, are you going to throw down with Dustin Rhodes? Dustin, obviously, we talked about how his change of athleticism and stuff, kind of how he's tweaked his style. You and Dustin would complement one another, I think, pretty well and tell a pretty good story. Did you work with him previously?
One time, it was not a November to remember. One Way Out? No Way Out?
No Way Out, maybe?
I have a poster of it in my gym, I think. I don't know. Yes, though. I think it was a No Way Out, and I wrestled one time him. I don't remember a lot about the match. It was in his Gold Dust character. But saw him last night, too, and got to talk to him, and it's always cool to see guys that you've known like forever and ever and ever,
Yeah.
And like you were saying, there's less and less of us, but it's just that's just the way it is. The longer you live, the more people you get to see pass.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
That's the trade-off,
Yeah, right. It's a tough one. It's a tough trade-off.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Here's a good one right here. What was the first match you had where you said to yourself, damn, I can really make it big? Like, was there a certain moment where you're like, damn, I am pretty damn good at this shit?
Wow, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think there was like one pivotal match where my mind clicked like that. Sabu, who trained me and also was around for my first couple of years of bookings, pretty much every show before I started getting booked, outside of him, 2 or 3 years maybe. And then he always would put that in my head and say that he and I were better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And so I always had his perspective of that. And then I think just as my confidence grew, I guess, that I don't know. I still feel like it still feels like there'd be people in the business that wouldn't give me credit. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't think it's like I crossed the line or something. I can still imagine certain people being like thinking that I would be the last person that they would want, to teach wrestlers because of their respect for my perspective. I don't know. That's just what I think. I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, that probably answers your question because no, I never think, that like, boom, okay,
I'm on a roll now. This is it.
No, it's just, experience and a growing comfortability, but there was a match where the fans started treating me different, and that was when I got the TV championship from Bam Bam Bigelow. There was definitely a big change overnight, like a switch was flipped in the way that the fans treated me. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to covering that match at some point. That'll be a fun one.
All of a sudden, and Paul knew it. I didn't know, but he told me. I didn't know what he was talking about. He was like, it doesn't matter what you do, the fans are going to love you. Like, all right, whatever. And then all of a sudden, it was just I was over before, but when I got the TV title, it was like everybody, just like you said in that question, it was as if everybody knew I was going to be a big star, and they were just all so much energy from everybody screaming, RVD. And it was such that it was significantly noticeably different.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty interesting to look back and see like all those kind of moments that like really set the bar, and then you elevated it even more so later on. Okay, we'll close out with this one. This one's been in the holster for a while. I keep forgetting to put it up, but this guy asked, and I know you mentioned to him online, I think too. So RVD, what was it like for you to team up with Stan Hansen in All Japan? You said it was stiff.
It was stiff.
Yes.
Yeah. Stan was stiff. He was blind, couldn't see very good. And he beat the shit out of anybody. Didn't matter if you were his opponent or his partner or a fan on the way to the ring. I don't know if people know this, but kind of like with the running of the bulls, how all the people will crowd all up on the gate or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when they release them, they all scatter. They would do that in Japan with Stan.
Yeah.
When his music hits, they would crowd the dressing room entryway, and they would come out with the rope and just start swinging it, and he would be swinging at them, and sometimes he would catch them, and there'd be like talk in the back. Like I remember Danny Crawford and sorry, Danny, kind of like just threw him under the bus, but I remember some of the boys, being like, man, that's not right, because there was like this 12-year-old kid with a big welt on his eye, and they were just like, man, he takes it too far. There's no need for that, and I was just young, learning this, and like, whoa, can they not sue over here? And they're like, no, you wouldn't get away with that in the United States. No way. And I was like developing my opinions and feelings like, that is pretty bad. And sometimes it wouldn't just be the big knot, it would be the cowbell on the rope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the cowbell shit.
But just like with the running of the bulls, you look at them, they're asking for it. They all crowd up and it's like, well, I guess you deserve it, and that's part of how we got over, and
right, yeah, strike fear into people and then fucking move out of the way.
Yeah, one of I think maybe my second tour of Japan, maybe I was teaming with Stan. Could have even been my first tour, I don't know, but he was my partner, and he just decided that he wanted to tag himself in. And he just reached over like and hit me. I guess he tagged me. I don't really remember that part. I just remember him coming in, and as he bulls his way by me, he pushed me on the side of my head so hard just to get me out of the way that it kinked my neck, and I had to do the whole tour now with a kinked neck that was like causing me so much pain. And I was like, was that necessary? Like, this is the way that I got, brought up in the business. So, me being a little bit snug is a far way from, hopefully from just outright carelessness, which I am guilty of a few times. We all learn from it. But Stan wasn't learning. He was already he was already in his 50s talking about how he was on his way out. And but yeah, he just pushed me so hard. And so like the whole rest of the tour, like it affected like my mindset,
throws you off.
Motherfucker.
Damn it, Stan. The lariat.
But I did enjoy bonding with them outside of the ring, though. Sometimes, I mean, like I had over the years, I had plenty of times to have a drink with him or whatever, and I remember asking him for like life advice, and stuff like that when I was super young and dating this girl that was before the Evil X even, and so yeah, I was 21. Wait, I started going to 93, so I just turned 22, 2 months ago. So I was just a baby when I first started going to Japan. I'd only done, I think, one flight. Maybe I hadn't been on a flight. I think I was on one flight, but anyway, I was like in this whole world that was new to me, and without Sabu.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah.
Man, so yeah, and like you told that story about like Dr. Death and everything like that, and like you're kind of just like on your own basically.
Dude, I would follow these guys to the gym, taking the subway trains or whatever to get there to work out. And I was just thinking, man, if I turned my back or whatever and lost these guys, I would never know how to get home.
Oh my God, yeah.
It was at another planet,
Did you drink back then?
A little bit, but it seems like it was mostly just peer pressure back then. Like,
yeah.
I was young and new, and so they would kind of force it on you, make you drink till you throw up, and yeah, it wasn't like an everyday looking forward to having a beer after the match kind of thing.
Right. It's just a matter of trying to fit in, and also like, they're forcing.
Yeah, and traditionally, like what they do on your first tour, they would go to this guy, Joe the Pearl Man. He had the hookups on pearls, so all the boys would get pearls for their wives back home from this guy. And he would take us out to eat at this place called the Playboy Bunny Club in Tokyo. And icky means, you have to drink it down.
Yeah.
And so you're just hanging out there with a whole table full of guys, just like, wow, I can't believe I'm in Japan. And all of a sudden everyone's hitting the table going, icky, icky. And you're like, well, what's that? And they're all looking at you. You're like, drink it down. And you're like, oh, God. You have a big, full fucking mug of Chu-Hai. Gulp, 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 gulp. And they make you do that till it's way past fun.
No. Oh.
Yeah. Icky.
Oh, no. That's how we're going to start next week's episode.
Yeah. What Johnny Ace taught me early on, though, and I still use this, I still call it the Johnny Ace method, is you don't say goodbye. Just get up like you're going to the bathroom or whatever, and then just disappear. And like a little while later, we're like, hey, where'd Johnny go? I was seeing him for like an hour. And it's great because they're not going to let you leave. You can't say, all right, man, I'm going to catch some sleep. You can't do that.
They'll fucking keep you there.
Bros.
Right.
Barbie would let you get your beauty sleep.
Barbie would let you go.
And come on, man. We all gotta get up in the morning too. Like, let's drink. How often we have a drink together? Sometimes it would be like that. How often do we get to have a drink together?
Right. Oh, that's they guilt trip you
every tour, but yeah.
They guilt trip you. I know the dudes always keep you around. You cannot escape it. You can't. The pressure is on.
I just avoid them. I avoid them now. No dudes allowed.
And that's the way to do it. And I tell you what, Irish goodbyes, I'm a big fan. Like in my late 30s now, it's just like, okay, I'll just get up. Nobody's going to care. And, I'll keep in contact. That's it.
Yeah, I still do that. I did a stand-up comedy show a few months ago here, and it was a bar one I think I talked about.
Yeah, the Wise Guys?
I think it was that one. No, I guess it wasn't actually. No, it wasn't. Anyway, it was one of them, and it just afterwards, like, people were coming up talking to me that were like, I don't know, talking about they want to get me at their club, and this and that, and everyone was like, yeah, I'll get your contact, and blah, blah. And I was looking at them and looking at everybody, and all of a sudden, I just like Homer Simpson in the bushes in that meme.
Slowly go back.
That's what I did. I even had a couple friends that were there, but I was like, it's not worth it to walk all the way back in and say bye to them.
Right.
I did the Johnny Ace exit.
Wait, I'm gonna Johnny. That's what I'm gonna start calling it now. I'm Johnny Acing it. I like it. All right, I'll leave you with this, Rob. Somebody asked. I can't remember. I didn't screenshot it, but somebody asked, "Do you have your gear picked out for next Wednesday?"
No.
Okay. Element of surprise, guys. It's fun. I like it.
I think obviously people haven't seen me wrestle my last several matches because they don't know. That I can still go, and they're questioning it. And actually, one comment said, like, when you're 52, like a 10-month span, a lot can happen within that,
Oh, my God. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. No, maybe he's right. Like, that's interesting, I remember Tracy Smothers telling me that he had to quit smoking, and I was like, why? He's like, oh, man, I just don't have the energy anymore. I just had to give it up. But he was like, man, you'll see when you're 35. But anyway, my point I was going to make, I think I have a few outfits that I have either worn once or maybe even not worn. So unless I get a new one from Joe Holland in the next week, then I think I got a couple to choose from that haven't been exposed to too many people. But that's it. You can only wear them a few times. They get faded and then they're down in value.
Yeah.
You know? It's the thing about the outfits.
They're one of a kind, Rob. They're one of a kind.
That is true. That's why I don't get rid of them anymore.
That's right.
I used to think, you know what, it's just rotting in my closet. It's going to mean a hell of a lot more to some kid or a fan or someone that's going to frame it and hang it up. And so I used to be okay with either using them to try to get some promotional traffic to my eBay site or donating them. I don't think I got rid of that many, but already I got rid of too many because now I would never do it again. And now I've looked for a few outfits and couldn't find them. I'm like, damn, I got rid of that one too. Yeah. And I've had fans at conventions tell me, one fan told me he had 6 of my outfits. I didn't even know I got rid of 6 total. I have no idea how many I got rid of. My guy, Joe Holland, my artist, says he's done close to 300 outfits.
Holy shit. Jeez. Man, like, oh my gosh. Well, yeah, so the element of surprise will be next Wednesday happening. Keep people on their toes about it.
There you go.
Yes. All right. Rob, is there anything else you want to say before we end it out here? Is there like anything about Dynamite coming up? Anything regarding you got Tulsa coming up here too?
Tulsa, yeah. When this is available on Friday, right?
This is available Friday, so on Premiere, so people will see it on Premiere.
Tulsa Comic Con is Saturday and Sunday. This I think it's the 5th and 6th, so maybe the 3rd. That would be right. So. Yeah. I will be there, see you there, and then we'll get back together next week and see what happens in the meantime.
In the meantime, we'll see what happens. Where Jack Perry's going to be at next week at the point in time. What's his situation?
Columbus.
Okay.
Columbus.
All right.
Columbus.
Hey, Rob, you can follow him at The Real RVD. You can follow me at Dominic DeAngelo on Twitter. But if you're looking above here, if you're watching, you can go to rvdpod.com. And that's where you can get all the clips. But now, guys, every Monday at 4:20, you will see the new episodes coming up soon enough, where you get to watch the full-length videos and just add it to the YouTube rotation, baby. It's going to be good stuff. So cool. Rob, it's been fun. It was really cool to see you on Wednesday night. Walk was awesome. You're awesome. It's going to be nice.
You're awesome, Dom. Appreciate you, dude.
Thank you. Guys. Yep. You guys are awesome too. So we'll see you next week.
Yes, you are.
Yes. Right on One of a Kind, guys.
I was waiting for some kind of sign, some kind of indication I was wasting my time. I got myself up out the basement. I faked it long enough to say I made it. I was patient, I put up a fight. I kept saying to myself, oh, the future is bright. I confronted everything that I was faced with and put it off another day. I don't know why I don't start, but I can't quite seem to open up the communication. I wanna try so hard, but I can't find anything to give me the motivation. I took medication, went under the knife. I tried to straighten up, I even took your advice. I honestly and humbly engaged in my slow and steady rehabilitation. I hesitated, what a surprise, and then I think I kinda took my eye off the prize, spending all the time I should've